welcome to the Paint with Heart Studios. I'm Cindy Harrison, your host and artist of Paint with Heart, along with my bestie, Melissa Reyes. And here she is.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa Reyes. I'm from Southern California, and I'm joining you today to do the Paint with Heart project with Cindy Harrison. And this week's theme is challenge. So I have my little card here, and it says, do more than is expected and be the best you can be at this moment. So I'm excited to join you and try my best to paint the project, even though I'm not completely ready, but I do have my little wood, what are these things called? Coasters. And I'm excited because I want to try to paint with Cindy and make what she's showing, which is these beautiful mums for fall, the autumn. So let's try it.
So here is, it's a coaster set. It comes with the holder and 4 coasters, and there's plenty of room to add more if you want to. And I chose to do a Maureen McNaughton inspired stroke work kind of mum. So I first started with some stencils. So I base coated it with a midnight green. Then I found a stencil over at the Creative Coach, Lori Speltz, and it has some really nice letters on there, fonts and such. And I took some Dazzling Metallics, blended gold, and then chose the word autumn, put it in my upper corner of my coaster. And I used my number 8 Dome Round stiff brush. Swirl it around on, if you can see this. Swirl it around on your palette. Go to a dry piece of paper towel, wipe off the excess, and then come over to your piece and start scrubbing over the letters that you want to transfer onto your piece. Now, if you don't have the stencil, you can use whatever stencil you do have to add a little bit of swirl. And this other stencil kit I got from DecoArt. It is Urban Ink Personally Yours from DecoArt. Spirited is what it's called. And it comes with 2 stencils in it. So that's really awesome because you have a lot of choices here. This particular one has a lot of scroll work, some words, birds, butterflies, flowers, keyhole. Anyway, so it's really cool. It's got a nice selection. So I chose a little scroll at the bottom here just to add a little extra bling to my stencil. So I did not wash my brush out yet because I'm still stenciling. And I'm going to add this little bling to the bottom. If you have different kinds of scroll stencils, use them. If you want to just do a liner brush, you can do a liner brush. Or if you had a rubber stamp, just hit it with a sponge and some gold, and you could achieve the same look. And rubber stamp it on. The next thing I did was take out your, if you have your line drawing, we'll use a line drawing. If you don't, take out a chalk pencil, and we're going to recreate, draw circles. So here I have a large circle with a little like oval in the middle here. So if I was gonna do this, I can make it bigger, I can make it smaller. It's not a perfect circle. Let's bring it in a little bit. So How close did I get? Not bad. And then we're going to have a little circle, a little oval thing up here. Then I take any kind of flat that fits the surface and gets the job done. I'm going to pick up some black plum, and it's a very dark purple color. If you don't have it, you can mix maybe some dioxazine purple with black or Payne's gray. And I'm going to base coat in that circle. Go right over your chalk line. Dry that. It is a transparent color, so don't feel like you have to have 2 coats of this. We're not doing it to have a solid coverage. We're just doing it to give it a base to our flower. I'm going to erase whatever graphite lines I didn't cover. Now I'm going to mix a little bit of the Payne's gray in my brush. It's going to be like a side load, but we're not going to be crazy technical about it. Pick up on the corner some of the black plum. Pick up on that same corner some of the Payne's gray, and just make a deeper color. And then I go on the bottom and I just do like a C stroke. It's called a C stroke because I start with the chisel, flatten it out, and go back to the chisel. Pick up a little bit more and do it on the inside circle. It's the bottom of the inside of the circle. Show you again. A little bit of black plum, a little bit of Payne's gray. Just work it to blend it. It's only halfway across my brush, and I'm going to swoop that down on the bottom of the large circle. And then again, if you lose moisture, just pick up a dot of water on the bottom of the little circle. If it doesn't show up, add more Payne's gray. Now we get to dry those. After you dried them, if they don't really show up enough, I would go back and add another application of the same color mix. Maybe a little bit more Payne's gray this time. Okay, now I'm going to put the extras aside for a moment. And I'm going to just work on this one. We're going to start forming comma strokes. I'm going to pick up, or put out, I should say, a puddle, first off, of the red violet and the raw sienna. And then we're going to take, I used a number 8 round. So depending on the size of your flower will depend on what size your brush that you use. And I'm going to load my brush in the red violet first. And I want to get fairly good load. I don't know if you can see that, it's pretty loaded. And I'm going to, on one side of the brush, and I'll show you using this over here. I'm going to scrape. Now, I don't suggest you do this. I'm just showing you for effect. I'm going to scrape that side off on a hard edge, whether it be on the corner of your Stay Wet palette or on a piece of paper. but you want to reduce the paint on that side. You just have a lot of paint on this side. Okay. Again, I don't recommend you do it on your palette knife. I was just showing you. Then I'm going to tip it into the raw sienna straight down. Swirl it around a little bit and pull it up. So I have a lot of raw sienna on that tip. Now I'm going to swipe it off on my paper towel again. The raw, just that same side. Pretend you have 2 strokes, one here, and the 2 on the other side. And I'm going to lay my brush down with the scraped off side down on the piece. Flatten my brush, wiggle it a little bit, and start pulling it in the direction so it comes around. Again, I might have to do a second load. I might have to load again because I'm not sure if I'll have, let's try it, if I have enough on my brush. And see, it didn't really come off that much. So I'll wipe my brush off, load it on in the red violet, scrape off the bottom, put it in the tip, scrape off the bottom, and then do a second stroke. Flatten that out and pull it down. Flatten that out and pull it down. When I don't have a lot of raw sienna, I could try tipping it just in the raw sienna to pull and see how that looks. So that's what I look like so far. The next strokes are going to start curving downward. So I overlap them from here and I start going down the side of the bowl, the outer bowl. So I'm going to load, wipe off my brush, load in that red violet, wipe off the end, tip in the raw sienna. I like hitting it off a little bit. Start on the outside edge and start pulling that stroke. If I don't have enough raw sienna, just go pick up some more. Flatten that brush, pull it down. Overlap, pull it down. And I'm making them a little bit longer. I probably need to curve a little bit more on those. To save time, I do end up pulling down on the red violet and scooping up on the raw sienna. Flatten that, go down. I'm going to start in this bowl here and pull some of those away. Make them a little different height as they get closer. And I overlap that center circle a little bit. Push up, pull down. Push up, pull down. And the center one. They're not perfect comma strokes by any stretch of anyone's imagination. I'm not necessarily looking here for technique on your comma stroke. More, I'm looking for the variation in color that you're creating by double dipping your brush. So that's going to be that first inner circle of color. And if like over here, I didn't go up high enough. I can just pull it back up. Pull this one back up. So they look more like they're cupping around. Same with this one. Go back up here and then pick that one up and go back up here. So you can just overlap them. You can do that till the cows come home. Wipe my brush off. Now I want to pull some of the outside ones here. So you can either downsize your brush or use the same brush. And I'm going to start pulling them in from the outside and cupping them down until I run out of paint. About 4 strokes. About 4 strokes. And then start on the other side. Next color I'm going to put out, I'm using boysenberry pink. So I'm going to take some boysenberry pink and mix it with my red violet puddle. And then the honey brown. Wash my brush out. I'm going to mix the boysenberry and the red violet together. Load my brush. And I'm just using the tip. Scrape off the bottom. Pick up the honey brown on the tip. Touch it down once. Now I'm going to start a new row of color. I'll start from the outside a little shorter and work my way down. Pick up some color. And I'm not worried about where the ones are I put on before. Start up here. Wipe off. Periodically touch down whatever it takes. And again, you know, if you didn't go up high enough and you want to go up a little higher, just go over it. And it doesn't matter that they don't touch here because we're going to go over it with another row, so that'll be covered. I'm going to add these around the outside now. Wipe my brush off, load it with that mix, tip the toe in the honey brown, and I'm going to overlap these a little bit. And then add these over here. If you want to make them bigger, you can. It's okay if you have your paints kind of puddled up. I'm gonna go ahead and add some more down here. If you feel you don't have enough of the tipped color, just go back in and go ahead and add that. Now I'm going to wash my brush out. And the next two colors I'm going to use is going to be Straight Boysenberry Pink and Golden Straw. So again, loading your brush in the Boysenberry Pink, wiping off excess on one side, and tipping it in the Golden Straw. This row of color is going to be between the second row, and start close to it and pull down. You need to pick up more color, wipe it off. You're going between those strokes that you added with that second color. Wiping it off. I want it to be a little bit more opaque so that it covers the opening between the ones you had there. But it doesn't have to be completely solid. So I'm curving it. Pressure, push up, bring it down. Pressure, push up, curve it down. Pressure, push up, curve it down. Pressure, push up, and curve it down. And I'm going to turn it around. And I'm going to start in the center and start pulling up some up from the between. When I do this, I might twist my brush so that I start with a flat and then twist so that it ends up kind of almost on a chisel. I also might have gone to a smaller brush to do some of those. And if your paint is not dry from the previous load, it's fine, because then it will like brush mix itself, and that will be pretty too. So don't go all the way up. Go to about where the dark value stopped underneath. So you're going from light to medium to dark in, and light to medium to dark around the outside as well. And depending, I'm looking at, depending on how wide you open your brush will determine how many petals that you need to fill in that area. I tend to be very, I don't know what it is, but symmetrical, or ducks in a row, soldiers in a row. And really you need to be a little bit more free with this and have different lengths and different rows, if you will. It's okay. It's all good.
They look beautiful. They do. Flowers, sometimes flowers look really perfect and symmetrical, you know, in that way. They line up, and it's just amazing.
So you want to try to not put those graphite lines in that I did there, because then they don't necessarily erase. But I needed to be able to show you the direction I was going in. We've got 4 of these to do. You can choose to do them all the same color, or you can choose to pull up different colors of, dark, medium, light, and pair those colors together to create all the different colors of mums there are out there, and there are many. Because the paint is thick on these, it will take time for it to dry. We're not done with this, but I have to make sure that these paint puddles are dry before I go to the next step. So I'm going to start working on another. How you getting it, Ophelia?
It's looking not too bad.
Hold on.
Hey.
Very nice.
Yeah. That looks
Very
good.
nice.
That looks like
So
fun.
make the first layer even higher up.
Okay.
You have a bigger distance between. You have a big flower, bigger distance between them. That's good.
I just want to show you the most beautiful, awesome, perfect base coated coasters you've ever seen.
That's gorgeous.
I did 3 coats and I sanded them in between, and I'm like really proud of these.
That is beautiful. That's better than mine. That's awesome. So now
Well, I really figured I might as well just take the time.
okay. So now I'm going to go to the next layer. Oh, actually, no, I wasn't going to do that. I'm going to put the outside ones in. So load your brush with the red violet. Wipe off the excess, tip in the raw sienna, and then start putting those outside ones on. Press and lift. We need to put some more paint out. Press and lift, press and lift. And again, I'm not too worried about, am I doing it perfectly? More of, am I getting the color on? I have enough of that. I don't need any more of that. Okay. So wipe my brush off, load, wipe off the excess, tip. Put that down, pressure, lift, pull, pressure, lift, pull. Make sure you get some raw sienna out. About 4 of those on that side. Now I'm going to go to the next row of color, which is the boysenberry pink red violet mix. Okay. Again, go back and reevaluate. If you lost some of that tip color and you want to go back and add it in, just take your dirty brush and pick up some more of whatever that tip color is and put it on there. So now I'm going to wash my brush out. And go to the last layer of color. With me, it's boysenberry pink and tipped in the golden straw. I'm going to add some little ones in between these. Feel free to just go and add little extras. You can only, enhance your painting to add, like on this one where I have a lot of blanks in there, I can just go back and take that little bit of the boysenberry pink and some yellow and just add more strokes. And it just makes, more.
And I don't have the stencils, so I am just doing them freehand.
Oh, let's see.
So
Oh, beautiful.
just started
Because you have
playing.
beautiful penmanship.
So I did it first with a pencil, chalk pencil.
Awesome.
And then I'm going over it with the gold metallic paint.
Very nice.
And I did first draw, just a line to make it straight.
Yep.
And I did the circle first so I would know where not to go.
So the circle's not a perfect circle. When you go to paint it, it's going to be more elliptical. Yeah. But you've got a good beginning.
I'll probably erase it before I start painting.
Yeah, you got a good beginning. Thanks. You're welcome. How you doing, Ophelia?
I'm doing good. I'm on my third one.
Oh, look at that. Lovely. Now, details. And let those dry and come in with this one. So if for some reason your highlight, your tip colors didn't come out as vibrant as you wanted them, take your liner brush and pick up that tip color. A little bit of moisture, pick up the tip color, and you can start pulling some lines from the top with that tip color. And obviously if you have the color there, it won't show up because it's tone on color on color. But if you are missing it, this will add some nice color. So do that where you feel you could add some of that raw sienna. And you probably don't need it on everyone, but I'm going to do the same thing with the lines down. I'm going to do lines up, and I'm going to start with the red violet ones. This time I'm only putting them at the base of the outside petals here. So I'm going to start and just kind of each individual stroke will get a few a few strokes of this red violet. If it's too bright, you can go to the black plum. And don't make them all ducks in a row. Make them some short, some long. As it cups around the flower. I'll turn it over and I'll do some to the ones that come out from the bottom. I have 2 more steps to do and then I'm done. Oh, well, 3. Okay, I'm going to add the dots on the inside first. again, using my liner brush, I'm going to tap in some of the raw sienna. When I'm done that, I'll go pick up some of the honey brown and do the same thing, only do less. Keep it lower. And then lastly, the golden straw. It's amazing how each one looks different.
They look amazing. Wow.
But that's what's nice about hand painted items, is that they always look, you know, they're not perfect and they always look different.
I am just so impressed with what you created in the 2 hours. And I'm laughing because mine just look like little chalkboards.
Oh, let's see your little chalkboards.
Oh, my little chalkboards. Well, here, let's see. I'll have to hold them up because I don't have a fancy camera like you. But ready? Dun, dun,
Oh, look at
dun.
that.
So yeah, you know, I have a little bit of work to do right here, a little fixing up, but they're ready. I'm going to learn how to do the flowers, and I'm going to do it, and I will show you. I will post my picture on Facebook in our group so you can see them. But man, what you've done is so beautiful, and the technique is simple. It's just the repeating, and I'm looking forward to trying it. I'm excited.
A lot of repetition.
Let's see how Ophelia's doing with hers.
Yes, let's go check her out. Oh yes, look at that.
Look at that. Ooh.
Very lovely.
And she hand painted her word and little scroll work too.
Or scroll work, yeah. So yeah, don't be afraid to you look at it and evaluate, and if you want to add more light tips to some or whatever, you can do that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Because it seems like they just get darker.
Yeah. The value changes has to be a little less drastic from the dark to the light. There has to be a lot of medium value. But I like the shape. You've got the shape going, so that's awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to do the second to the last step. And that is going to be, make sure they're all dry. And then remember last week we realized that doing the pre-wet method was way easier. And I'm going to pre-wet that area that where the top round meets the bottom round that they come in. And I'm pre-wetting that area here. I'm going to corner load my brush with the black plum, and then take that and put the corner of my brush in that crevice as I come around, and then turn my brush over with another load here and start going over the bottom petals with that. Again, the corner of the brush that's loaded with the black plum is on that line. So that kind of softens and marries those two, the top strokes to the bottom strokes. If you need to mop it out, go right ahead. I'll take the next one. Now, well, I want to go over, this is,
Midnight green.
I put the stencils on it like we did on here. And then I took my 8 dome brush and I just scrubbed some color from my palette. So whatever color you have on your palette, you can scrub some of that on here. I also added the gold scrubbed on there too. So it just gave it a little hazy color. But when you put these in here, that's what you're gonna see, is the flower peeking up through it. I didn't do it, but I will paint the inside. So easy peasy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, last but not least, we have these edges to do. And I found it so much easier, like I did on here. I did all the edges on here, and I even did this base, not the bottom, I'll paint that, but on the top. And I found this Deco Color Premium. This is oil-based, but they have other gold leafing pens. I shook it up and I started the press down on it to start getting the paint down to down the wick. And I actually just colored this whole thing with this pen, and I colored the edge, and I'll show you how I did that. Makes it so much easier. You just wipe right over the edge.
So smart.
Put that chisel edge right against the edge, and just like coloring. So if you can find this pen, I recommend it highly, or one like it, marker like it. If not, you can use your Splendid Gold in a brush, or you can use Splendid Gold in your finger and just wipe over it. But this covers so nicely. You know, with great ease.
Is the back painted, or did you have?
I didn't paint it because I'm gonna glue on some cork.
Almost looks like it's painted like a light brown or something, but that's just the natural color.
That's the natural color. I would finish this off with triple thick on the top. And that's this, triple thick on the top. Let that lie flat to dry. When that's done, then you can place it on your cork, sheets of cork, and trace around the outline and cut the cork, and then glue it on with E6000. So what do you think, Melissa?
I think they look amazing, and I love little box, and you did make it look really easy.
Oh yeah, that's easy peasy.
Well, thank you so much, Cindy. This has been a great project. It's so much fun, and I feel like I'm ready for fall. I'm ready for autumn. All the colors, they're so beautiful, and it's been such a fun time to just settle into that and be the best it can be right now in this moment with you here on Paint with Heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. And thank you everyone who was here live with us, and all those on replay. And this is definitely a project that is a challenge for many people. I hope that I made it seem easy enough that you're willing to step outside your comfort zone and take the challenge. And then if so, please post it on the Paint with Heart Facebook, or post it on your own Facebook page, but then tag me or Melissa, or hashtag Paint with Heart, and we'll see it. Until next time, remember to always paint with heart. Thank you, everyone.
Don't forget to pick up your Christmas box. And thank you to our patrons. Your donations are greatly appreciated.